Hey, so it's been a while since I've gone off the beaten path and spoken about something other than My Hero Academia, and this past Monday, I read the Bleach One-Shot, and to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. Actually, let me rephrase that, because I was completely blown away. It turns out, if you aren't at war with your publisher and editors and focus on your health, you can breathe new breath into your iconic series that, one point or another, was considered to have died a terrible death. Also, if you consider yourself a Bleach superfan, be sure to correct any inconsistencies in the comments down below, just in case I may have interpreted something wrong. All in all, it just helps me get better as a creator, and maybe even a new video idea is spawned from your comment. Because as of this video, I'm not really on the up and up when it comes to the final arc of Bleach. But I can say this, if you are on the fence about giving it a chance because like me you tapped out after Aizen, definitely give this one shot a read. It is worth it. Also, it can be read for free right now on viz.com, and the reason why I say that is because I'm going to be spoiling the hell out of this one. So you should definitely experience this one shot for yourself, because hearing my thoughts are great and all, because when Tite Kubo has time to create, it's turning out that he's a lot like Araki in that aspect, because we can all say with impunity, when Araki moved to a monthly schedule with Part 7 Steel Ball Run, the quality of life in that manga became outstanding. So after this one shot, I am really hoping that Bleach maybe moves to a monthly schedule. So with that being said, if you want to see me cover more random manga like this Bleach one shot, hit that like button and let's go for say like 500 likes, that way I'll know. So let's head inside and grab ourselves a drink and talk some goddamn Bleach. Welcome to the bar, folks. So, the Bleach one-shot. Look, I was transparent during the intro. I stopped reading Bleach during the Fullbring arc. After Aizen was defeated and Ichigo lost his Soul Reaper abilities, I was waiting for the series to end, and when it didn't, I felt like another filler arc was beginning. The series kind of just deflated in my eyes. I genuinely thought that the series was gonna end after Aizen. And after the series ended, I never followed through. I just ended up skipping to the ending and was pissed at how rushed everything felt, and everyone's endings just felt meh. Like, why is the guy who hates fighting a professional boxer now? I wanted Chad to become an ornithologist. Let the guy have his birds. But upon reading Bleach's so-called ending, I understood why the masses of fans have criticized Kubo and Jump with its handling of the once iconic manga/anime. But with Burn the Witch and now this one-shot, Kubo is back. And look, upon reading further into Kubo's situation before Bleach's cancellation, his health was failing, his relationships with his editors and publishers were poor as well, because simply enough, they didn't give a shit about the guy. But upon his return to the manga game, Kubo-sensei knew exactly what he was doing. Remember something, for the longest time, this guy's title was that of the Big Three. When Dragon Ball Super wasn't a thing, Bleach was in that hole. So let's not ramble any further, let's head over to the wall and I'll talk more about what this one-shot did right. Alright, so I think initially I was hesitant to even give this a read. Then later that Monday night, I threw caution to the wind, caved in, and read it. Though upon reading it, I felt like I was watching the very first episode of Bleach once again. The inciting incident brought the characters together as functioning parts of the story, and when it came to flex Ichigo, he still had his intimidating presence. He wasn't neutered like Naruto was. I mean, when Sasuke insulted him and called him soft, it just kind of deflated me altogether and made me just go, wow, I hate this character now. So when we see Ichigo eating at Keigo's restaurant, it makes us feel fulfilled. It doesn't feel like the character was just thrown in the garbage and forgotten about. Because what Bleach excelled out before all of this was making each and every single character feel important to the story. It wasn't just about Ichigo. Yeah, he's the main character of the story and he always will be, but at the same time, we did want to see what other characters would do when they're put into unique situations. So if I were to talk about what the one-shot did correctly, I would have to mention the fact that Kubo evoked the greatest arc of the series while simultaneously finding a brand new way to label his series. Meaning, he targeted someone like me who knows that this toolbox is from the Hueco Mundo arc, while simultaneously going, oh shit, yeah, you were fighting ghosts the entire time. Now you're fighting creatures from hell. Like, talk to any Bleach head out there and they will say that Bleach the Hellverse is already the greatest movie in their franchise, and to be honest, it's better than most anime movies, period. Kubo went inside of his bag and pulled out the line about spiritual energy grades and created a massive arc about them, because now every single villain in person with a spiritual energy above grade 3 that has died can come back, and we don't know whether or not they'll be back as a villain or not, because if Ukitake is a villain now, oh boy. Also, quick sidebar, this part right here, that's him remembering what Ginjo told him about his Soul Reaper badge, right? Like, Ukitake was always keeping tabs on him? Let me know if that's what I'm thinking of, because that'll make Ichigo even angrier if he finds out that the Soul Society is keeping tabs on him and his family, and we've seen that Ichigo's anger is literally his superpower. This is a real refreshing take on Bleach. Unlike a show like Boruto, Kubo succeeds in making the next generation feel like they can just become another facet to the story. Ichigo and company are still very compelling characters when driven in the right direction, and Kubo kind of shows us that they don't have to disappear and become neutered versions of themselves. And if we're going to talk about the next generation, I'll save Kazui for last because I have quite a bit to say about him. But first, we'll start with Rukia and Renji's child, Ichika, who's clearly named after Ichigo. Besides the fact that she's kind of destined to become that red-haired tsundere character of the series, I'm really looking forward to see what her character has in store for the plot. Hopefully she's a better artist than her mom though. And regardless of her typecasting, she really does feel like a natural addition to the cast, but I think they're doing the right thing writing the children the way that they are. I love the fact that we can see Ichika is gonna one day become a badass fighter and is already on a whole different level of observation, being that when she opens up a gate from the Soul Society, nobody is able to even detect that she's in the area. Oh, also, she can detect that hell beasts are in the area before anyone else can, meaning to a degree, even though no one else can feel their spiritual pressure, she can. Like, I think it's a given that Kazui has the potential to become an absolute force, but Ichika's parents are both Bankai caliber Soul Reapers more than capable of dismantling the most dangerous of threats. Though after meeting both children, I'm gonna assume that she's gonna act as Kazui's protector, who's panning out to be a character that reminds me of Hayao Miyazaki movies. I know, a very bold claim there, but there's something about Kazui having the most passive and understanding character and one of the strongest shonen protagonists ever as parents. It makes me formulate this idea. The way we're introduced to him in the final chapter compiled with this one-shot, you just can't help but feel like this kid is gonna end up on whimsical ass adventures. Also, this is a little bit random, but the fact that Ikaku is now the lieutenant behind Ken makes me feel like if there's anyone in the Gotei 13 that could be a great master, it's the guy who hid the fact that he had a Bankai until he mastered it. Either way, Ichika and Kazui are about to go on some spirited away whimsical types of adventures, and if Ikaku gets dragged around as their supervisor, I would lose my mind. That would just be so pleasing to me. I just picture Ikaku being miserable the entire time because he has to take care of children. And while we're on the topic a little Kazui, besides being the cutest fucking kid ever, this little badass doesn't even realize how badass he is. Like, people were telling me that he absorbed some of the essence of the final bad guy from Bleach, and I'm not attempting to say that guy's name in any way, shape, or form, but from this chapter alone, his abilities look a little bit different from Ichigo's and Orihime's. The first thing that jumped out at me was the fact that this kid was able to jump out his window and then fly on a koi fish, which makes me think that it's possible that Kazui can grab onto and harness that grade 3 or higher spiritual energy that doesn't get put to rest. Also, the thing that really kind of confused me was his transformation into a Soul Reaper. Being that he's not a soul, he has to leave behind his body to a degree, which makes me think that his Soul Reaper transformation is that more of like a Fullbring. But when we recall how one gets a Fullbring, I'm pretty sure it's when a hollow attacks somebody and they survive that attack, and when they reproduce, that particular person whose parent was attacked by a hollow can eventually access a Fullbring at a certain point in their life. Ichigo was the son of a Quincy and a Soul Reaper. Orihime is a Fullbringer who's been attacked by several types of hollows, which means that Kazui has untapped potential with us not understanding the ceiling of his growth. So who knows what this kid might get himself into. And to continue my absolute transparency, this is where I feel like the story succeeds at extending the series in the right direction. Ichigo, Renji, and all of them, they can still be the people that surpass their limits to end a huge conflict, but Kubo throws in the caveat of yearning to be obscenely strong is what caused all of this to happen in the first place. So with every single character yearning to get stronger, they inadvertently tip the scales in favor of the Hellspawn. And with that new caveat, a new way to deal with those that have departed this world has to be achieved. And that's what the introduction of their children is going to be. They're not just going to act as some ex machina to get rid of the Hellspawn. They're going to be weaned into the story. Bleach isn't going to change its name and just kind of rebrand itself. Sorry, enough of the Boruto slander for this video. The way that Bleach rolls, one day we could see Kazui head his own arc like various Soul Reapers have done before, because the fact of the matter is, this kid has been traversing Hell like it's nothing apparently, which tells me several different things about Hell. Like, what if Hell is divided up and Hell can actually contain Heaven as well? Because arguably we've heard more about Hell than we have about Heaven in this aspect. Being that Kazui is so lackadaisical about going there or even just sending spirits there, he could be a contributing factor to various Hell beasts showing up as well. And with that assumption, if Heaven does exist and is just separate from Hell, there could be a possibility that there's a resistance within Hell. We've seen in Bleach before that even in the most dangerous of places, allies are hidden in wait. You just have to be patient. And another thing I'm gonna point out, with Hell comes Heaven, but with both comes God. There is definitely a security system that was originally in place to keep the forces of Hell in check, but when the scales were thrown off balance, you have what we have now. I do like that there's this underlying theme of change, like the Soul Society needs to change for its future to get better. You know, they started introducing things like cell phones and television into the Soul Society, so maybe now the Kanso Reisai might be the next thing to go. All in all, this one-shot is pretty lengthy and deals out screen time to pretty much everybody that can help move the plot along, which I appreciate. The fact that Hell is gonna be the next extension of the series is a very elegant way of going, yeah, all those people you've lost and defeated, tip the scales in the wrong direction, and yes, it is most certainly your fault. I really do enjoy the fact that this chapter put a stigma behind those that are insanely strong. I mean, way back, all you had to do was worry about Hollows and Arrancar, because they were just, ghosts. Now that these antagonists are becoming creatures of Hell, we might see what they were like prior to those deaths that turned them hollow. Though easily for me, if I were to choose my favorite part of this one-shot, it has to be the part where Zalporo is explaining the Kanso Reisai's true purpose, while at the same time Kyoraku is realizing that he sentenced most of his friends and allies to Hell. Also, for me at least, the biggest conundrum was the beginning of the one-shot. This monologue right here, I think it's supposed to be Ukitake as the koi fish in the sky. People have said that it's Kazui and foreshadowing him becoming an antagonist, and that's where I disagree, because I feel like Kazui is the character that will prove that the strong have been taking advantage of the weak, and that the weak shouldn't have to live in fear of the strong the entire time, hammering home the fact that getting stronger to defeat your foes just shouldn't be the end game. You should figure out how to dispose of or how to deal with something properly. Killing always isn't the best solution. But the thing is, for the longest time, the Soul Society has been so draconian that this was the only way that they know how to deal with this type of stuff. I mean, if Ukitake actually does become an antagonist and Kazui is targeted by Hell, those are two gigantic plot points that I feel need a lot more elaboration. So if any of you Bleach heads are out there that can help break down this scene even further, leave it in the comments down below. I really would love to hear your thoughts. All in all, I can't believe it took so long for us to sit and realize that Hell was the untapped story arc. We always saw those Hell butterflies, and to be quite honest, never once did we really think twice about them. And I get it, I know, this is just a one-shot, but there is precedent that this could become another manga. And let's say on the off chance that nothing does come of this. If anything, Kubo just proved to every single person out there that he still got it, because this Hell arc is something that I would give a shot, and if you're a Bleach fan, you should absolutely too. I hope you enjoyed this one though. The main reason why I made this video is because Bleach holds a special place in my heart, as your boy was going through a tough time when this anime was airing back in 2004-2005. So when I saw Kubo was back with something not Burn the Witch related, with an Ichigo that was more or less my age, it felt like Kubo did the complete opposite of Kishimoto, telling me and every other Bleach fan that tapped out to come home because Bleach is back. So show your support to Kubo Sensei and give the one-shot a read, and hopefully we can get monthly issues of Bleach like Araki does with JoJo's. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, and until next time, don't go hollow. Cheers.